Hi. We have with us today Leslie Kuban from FranNet, and she's going to talk about her role as a franchise broker. Um, Welcome, Leslie. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. And thank you so much for having me today. And gosh, so I've been in the franchise consulting brokerage business for 22 years now. And I entered into brokerage via franchise ownership myself. I was involved in the mailboxes, et cetera business. I had my location that I owned and operated in Marietta, Georgia, where I'm located. And prior to that, my family had been involved in franchising. My father, like a lot of our clients now, he left the corporate world, found his way into entrepreneurship through franchising, and our family was involved in several businesses. It's in sign production, in 1-hour photo finishing, and then the FranNet organization was looking to expand in the Atlanta area, and they called us, and my father and I were in business together for many years before he retired, and here I am 22 years later.
Okay, well, that's a great background for a franchise consultant because you know what it's like to be a franchisee. So what advice do you have for someone who wants to become a franchise owner?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that an aspiring business owner really needs to consider. We hear a lot of things that people think about when they're trying to figure out what type of business would be best suited for them. But I find people sometimes don't think about it from the angle of what would their role be if they were to own a particular franchise. Sometimes people have this fantasy of that looks like a great business, or that would be a fun business, or it's not in my neighborhood and it would really work here. So they're thinking about that business could be successful, but they're not thinking about what kind of time commitment is that really going to require of me? What kinds of roles and responsibilities would I have as the owner? So I think people really need to focus on evaluating a franchise through the filter of, well, if I own it, what's my Monday going to be like? What's my Tuesday going to be like? What kind of talents and responsibilities are going to be important? And then being honest with themselves about, do they have those talents?
Right.
Can they make that kind of commitment? And can they learn those talents if it's something that's not, they're innately comfortable with?
Okay, that makes sense. And I hear that a lot from franchise brokers, that there's management skills and then there's the skills of the employee that will be doing the work. So in your role, what does success look like for you? When do you know that you've done a great job?
I would say, generally speaking, just me and my own business, I like taking on a new challenge. Like for me, that's extremely rewarding, is trying something new, becoming a master at it, and then maybe teaching somebody else. But really, our role is as a franchise broker is helping our clients make the right decisions for them. And so winning looks like that, which may or may not be to help someone choose a franchise. And in fact, I think a core responsibility of our role is to help people figure out when it's not right. And when I look at the folks who I'm talking to, it's probably 7 out of 10 that we determine franchising is not right for you, or at least it's not right for you right now. And that's a big win, is to help people figure out that maybe they need to wait, maybe they need to better prepare financially, they need to be in a different spot personally before they're really poised to successfully enter franchise ownership. And then winning also looks like going to the grand opening of our clients' businesses and going out to lunch with them at their 5-year anniversary. Most of our clients with FranNet are locally based, so we know these folks, we're their customers, and so it's really a big win to help them celebrate their successes.
Great. So when it comes to the franchisor that wants to award more franchises, what advice do you give them? What does a franchisor that is looking to award more franchises, what do they need to know from you?
So I think A real missed opportunity for many franchise brands, young and mature, is in their franchise resales. And so it's interesting. You talk to a lot of franchising companies and they kind of have this blank stare when it comes to having an established, well thought out program and process for helping franchisees exit their system and sell their business, and helping new franchisees come into their system via an acquisition. And a lot of times franchises, they don't even think about this until they have one, a resale. And then it's kind of like, oh boy, what do I do now? And this is something that we're coaching our franchisor partners more and more heavily on, is to really establish a strong resale process early, because if you can establish resale value for your franchise and you're assisting your franchisees gain an attractive value when they exit, that's going to be attractive to a more sophisticated franchise buyer. If they can see a pathway of people come into your business, you build it for 5 or 7 years, then you're ready to retire, and this franchise becomes a valuable asset. So it doesn't happen when the franchisor just kind of says, franchisees figure that out on your own. So that's a big opportunity for franchisors to attract better franchisees and maintain and increase the value of their system.
Really interesting. Great point. And then finally, what can a franchisor do to better communicate with you, to open the channels of communication? What do you need to hear from them? How do you need to hear it?
I think the franchisors that I work with best, they're as good at time management as I am. And they're building time into their schedule to provide me with detailed follow-up. Is the candidate a good candidate? What if there are disconnects that are taking place, and I can be helpful to smoothing out the communication between the franchisor and the candidate that I've referred. And I know that we're all busy, but I find some franchisors are a lot better at this than others. And the ones that make the time to build in broker communication time, in addition to candidate communication time, are the ones that get the most business from us.
Okay. Well, Leslie, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, I'm a texter.
Okay.
So feel free to text me. My mobile 404-236-9115. And I am on LinkedIn for my business every day. So my LinkedIn page is always a good source. And of course, FranNet.com.
Okay.
As well.
And I think you broke up just a little bit when you were giving your phone number.
It's 404-236-9115.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your insights. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me. Bye now.